Let me tell you a little secret. Being attractive has nothing to do with your looks. It's not the size of your muscles, the cut of your jawline, or the dress you're wearing. No. True, silent attractiveness. It's something else. It's the way someone walks into a room and the energy shifts. It's the kind of person who doesn't need to speak loudly, but when they do, everyone listens. It's subtle, it's invisible, and it's incredibly powerful. So today, let's talk about those habits, the habits that make you silently attractive. These aren't loud, they're not obvious, but they're magnetic. 1. The habit of presence. When you're with someone, be with them, not checking your phone, not scanning the room, but truly being present, looking into their eyes, nodding at the right moments, responding with intention. People crave attention in a world full of distraction. And the person who gives undivided attention, they stand out. They're remembered, they're felt. Presence is power. It shows confidence, empathy, and control. And it makes people feel seen. And that's rare. 2. The habit of listening. More than you speak. You know what's more attractive than being the funniest or smartest person in the room? Being the one who actually listens, not the one waiting to talk, but the one absorbing. We're surrounded by noise. Everyone wants to speak, but very few listen. When you develop the habit of deep, intentional listening, people are drawn to you without even knowing why. They'll say, "I don't know why, but I feel comfortable around you." It's because you gave them space. You didn't compete. You didn't interrupt. You allowed them to be. 3. The habit of saying less but meaning more. There's something magnetic about people who don't overshare. They don't need to narrate every detail of their life. They don't dominate the conversation. They speak with clarity, not clutter. And when they do speak, people listen because there's weight in their words. They don't talk to impress, they talk to express. This habit builds mystery. It gives off the energy that you don't need attention. And ironically, that's what draws it to you. 4. The habit of calm energy. We underestimate the power of calm. In a world full of anxiety, urgency, and chaos, calm is magnetic. Calm is silent strength. That one person who doesn't overreact, who breathes before they respond, who doesn't raise their voice to prove a point. They exude something different. It's a vibe that says, "I've seen storms before, I don't need to panic." And that energy? It's deeply attractive. People feel safer around calm energy. They respect it, they gravitate toward it. 5. The habit of good posture and subtle body language. Your body speaks long before your mouth does. Straight shoulders, chin up, steady eye contact, slow, deliberate movements. You don't need to be the loudest in the room. When your body says, "I belong here," people believe it. Silently attractive people don't fidget. They don't slump. They own their space. And in doing so, they invite curiosity, respect, and admiration. 6. The habit of dressing with intent. You don't have to wear the most expensive brands, but silent attractiveness often shows up in people who care about how they present themselves, about the details, the fit of your clothes, the cleanliness of your shoes, the subtle accessories, a signature scent. These things don't scream. They whisper, but people notice. And without saying a word, you communicate standards, discipline, and self-respect. 7. The habit of solitude. Attractive people are often seen alone, but they're never lonely. They're seen reading at cafes, walking confidently, or simply enjoying their own company. This habit of being comfortable alone signals something powerful. You're not dependent. You don't need a crowd. You're whole on your own. And that's rare. People respect those who are self-sufficient, who aren't chasing constant stimulation. Your independence is silently sexy. 8. The habit of restraint. Not everyone needs to know everything you think. You don't need to clap back at every insult. You don't need to show off every achievement. Silently attractive people pick their battles. They don't respond to petty drama. They don't overshare on social media. They carry themselves with graceful detachment. They don't let their emotions hijack their dignity. And that restraint, that self-control, it's magnetic. 9. The habit of appreciation, not validation. Here's a big one. Attractive people appreciate themselves without needing external validation. They don't post to be seen. They don't perform to be clapped for. They do things because they believe in them. They love their work because they value effort. They take care of themselves because they respect their body. They give compliments because they're secure, not because they're hoping to receive one back. Validation-seeking energy repels, but self-contained confidence, it draws people in. 10. The habit of thoughtful pauses. Ever notice how truly magnetic people don't rush to fill silence? They pause before they speak. They breathe before they respond. They're not in a hurry to prove a point. That pause, it holds power. It creates anticipation. It shows you're comfortable with space, and it gives others the chance to absorb your presence. Speaking too quickly or nervously can dilute your message. But when you pause, you become memorable. 11. The habit of emotional control. Let's be honest. Everyone gets angry. Everyone feels sad. But not everyone knows how to handle it. People who are silently attractive don't suppress their emotions, but they manage them gracefully. They don't explode. They don't blame. They process internally and respond thoughtfully. They never beg. They never chase. They never whine, because their peace is not negotiable, and people admire that strength more than any rant or meltdown ever could. 12. The habit of not being easily impressed, not in an arrogant way, but in a calm, grounded way. They've seen things. They've worked hard. They're grateful, not desperate. They don't need to fake excitement to belong. They can sit in silence and still feel enough. And that unshakable internal stability, it's deeply attractive. You see, when you stop trying to impress others, they become curious about you, and curiosity is the beginning of silent desire. 13. The habit of doing the inner work therapy, journaling, reflection, discomfort, people who've done the work on themselves. They walk differently. They speak with clarity. They hold boundaries. They don't project their pain. They've met their shadows. They've tamed their ego, and it shows. You may not see the hours they spent healing, but you feel the result of it when they enter the room. It's peace, it's clarity, it's quiet power. 14. The habit of playfulness in serious moments. You don't have to be stoic 24/7 to be attractive. In fact, the person who can hold both strength and softness, that's the one who truly stands out. When you can be playful during pressure, when you can crack a joke when tension rises, when you can laugh at your own mistakes, that's irresistible, because it shows that life hasn't broken you. You still have light. You still have joy. And that light, it's like a magnet. 15. The habit of letting go. Easily attractive people don't cling, not to relationships, not to grudges, not to moments that have passed. They feel fully, and they release quickly. They don't beg for closure. They don't chase people who left. They don't replay old arguments in their heads. They let go, because they know that holding on too tight kills peace, and peace is what makes you radiant. That quiet detachment, it whispers, I love myself enough to move on, and people can't help but respect it. Final thoughts. So here's the truth. Attraction isn't about being the loudest. It's about being the most centered, the most self-aware, the most at peace. You don't have to perform. You don't need validation. You just need habits that ground you, shape you, refine you. And when you cultivate those silent internal habits, people feel you before they even know you. They'll say, "There's something about them. I can't explain it." But you'll know. It's not luck, it's not looks, it's intention. It's the power of silent habits, and they'll draw people in without a single word spoken.